What's up, guys? It's your boy, Young K True, finally back with another video. So, the other day on Twitter, I saw LeBron James shared a clip from this Jon Stewart. He has like a talk show. I've seen him once in WWE before. Fairly popular dude, Jon Stewart. Basically, LeBron shared this video of him talking to this Oklahoma State Senator, Nathan Dahm. I think Dahm is how you pronounce it. And basically they were talking about how the clip I saw was basically talking about how drag shows are not the biggest death to children, and how it's actually firearms, which, I mean, obviously I don't believe that drag shows are actually killing people. I think they're causing another problem. But yeah, it was just a very bad comparison, I thought. And so I thought, okay, interesting. If that's a pretty controversial topic he brought up in the video, I might as well react to like the whole thing, because I just feel like I could get a good idea how he feels, and maybe I could do a better job than Nathan did. Because in the clip I saw, this Nathan Dahm guy just seemed like he was lost. It didn't seem like he knew how to counter anything that Jon was saying. But we're gonna watch this full interview, and then I'm basically gonna react and break down my thoughts. So here we go.
I'm a strong proponent of the Second Amendment. I believe the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's the one right that's listed in the Constitution that uses that very specific affirmative language, shall not be infringed.
It's also the one right that uses the phrase well-regulated.
Correct, when it's talking about the militia and the state.
By the way, just for clarity's sake,
yeah.
I'm not against the Second Amendment.
You're not?
I'm not against, I don't want to ban guns. But you're saying more guns makes us more safe.
Yes.
So when we got 400 million guns in the country, we had an increase and gun deaths went up. So when exactly does this curve hit that takes it down? Would 1 billion guns do it?
Let's just run those numbers, 400 million, 50,000. You're talking about a less than a fraction of, not even 1%, of 1/100%.
But it goes up, not down. So your argument is backwards.
But if you want, okay, so let's come up with a solution. Okay, so one of the issues, a contributing factor, again, I believe it's the individual that is the problem.
So your solution to that?
Yeah, and I believe that too. I think our biggest issue right now is that we're not really keyed in on what the actual problem is. We're just so keyed on blaming the firearm that we're not really looking into the real problem of the matter. I think the real problem is our mental health, and why. Like, we have to, I don't know why we never ask ourselves why a person would do this. Like, we only just attack the firearm. We don't really, no. Don't you notice when people post about this stuff, they never say nothing really about the person that did the shooting? No one talks about that. The biggest controversy around is whether we should ban guns or not. Why don't we talk about, maybe figure out why the person did what he did? I don't understand why we just completely ignore that. And so I think that's a big bad thing going on in society right now, is we're just ignoring the real issue.
Is give them more guns.
So I'm saying that because people are the problem, we need to look at the problems that those people are facing, and how do we address it.
But you've removed the ability for the state to do that. Let me back up for a second. In every other place in your life, you want to bring order, but guns are the outlier for you. So let's start with immigration. You want registration, maybe a wall, maybe not a wall. Why do you want that?
Well, one of the reasons is because of the fentanyl crisis.
Right? Yeah, and that's a big thing going on right now, is the fentanyl. I take that shit personal, and it's just not a safe thing going around, and I think it's pretty brutal to our country that we're kind of just, again, I'm cool with any race, any people of any religion, anything coming over, as long as they're doing it legally. And I just feel like we're letting a lot of bad people come into this country right now and take jobs and bring bad drugs and bring rapists and criminals. Just it's bad, and I think that Biden's done a terrible job with securing our border, and that's just a fact.
Okay,
and you don't know when it's coming across. So what do you do?
But the fentanyl crisis is twice what the gun death crisis is.
Okay, so
yeah, so why don't they talk about that? That's probably the best point Nathan's made this whole time. He's been struggling to elaborate on what he was trying to say, but I think that's a good point he made. Is like that's a bigger problem than the gun one, but the Democrats and liberals aren't talking about that. Why?
Until the gun crisis gets
No.
to the fentanyl level,
Not until it-
you don't want to bring order.
No, not until it.
It's not what we
if
said.
we're-
It's
my
not what he's
point. If
saying.
If we're going to talk about
It's not what he's
protecting
saying.
lives, that's a larger issue in America
Yes.
than guns is. If we're talking about individual lives
Yes.
of ways that they can be protected, loss of life in America, there's loss of life through fentanyl. There's loss of life through obesity. The obesity crisis in America costs 6 times the
Yeah, and again, that's another thing that Democrats and liberals are promoting is obesity. You know, why is it all these big corporations are trying to make it like okay to be fat? You know, you have Victoria's Secret models being a lot heavier than usual. I don't quite understand. Like, we're trying to make unhealthy things healthy just so everyone feels accepted. And I'm not saying everyone should be treated good, but we shouldn't be pushing this narrative that it's okay to be fat, or like it's not. It's unhealthy. It's dangerous. You're probably not going to live as long. It's one of those things where we're corrupting minds. Like, we're brainwashing minds right now, and it's just awful what's going on. Like, who would have thought, like, 50 years ago, if you put up like a fat model, like, no one would be like this wouldn't even be like, everyone would be like, take that shit down. Like, it'd be a huge controversy. Nowadays it's like you have to like accept like everything put in front of you. It's crazy.
of lives as guns.
Right, and
so,
you're the guy saying, you know what would help this? Ice cream.
no. So, you know what would help the problem that we're facing with firearms?
What?
The fatherlessness crisis that we have in America. If you look at the statistics,
Right, yeah, they're
80
dying from gun deaths.
80%.
Yeah, again, I'm getting frustrated with John because he's only focused on what these people are using. He's not focused on why these problems are happening. Fatherlessness is a big problem in America, and it's causing a lot of people to go down bad paths. Without a father figure, you're not likely to make it far. Like, that's the truth. Everyone needs a good father and mother around them, I think. And he's just ignoring the real problem. He's going off of the weapon they're using. I mean, God, it's just I don't know where they find these people. Where do they find these people at? Why are we ignoring the problem? They don't want to help other people with their mental problems. They want to continually just blame the weapon they're using. And I'm not saying the weapon's not part of it. I'm not even like a big gun dude. I want to protect our Second Amendment, obviously, but I'm not someone that's like, oh, I need my gun. No, I'm not like that. Like, my dad has guns. I don't really have any. I've shot a BB gun. That's all I've shot. I'd like to get more new guns. I think they're cool. I don't feel like I'm threatened when I'm around a gun because I trust everyone around me. But I just think that we just ignore the real problem over and over and over again. And I'm not saying that maybe more restrictions wouldn't help. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm not even saying that because Nathan's trying to propose that more guns would help. I wouldn't say that. But I feel like we need to get down to the real issue, and we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Of school shooters either came from a broken or fatherless home. If
So you would
That's
say
a good point. 80% of school shooters came from a fatherless home. So that's meaning they haven't been taught responsibly. They're depressed. They don't have a good father figure in their life to take them through life and teach them the good ways of life. I mean, that's what you need. That's the problem we need to be focused on.
guns for fatherless homes.
No, that's not what I would say.
Oh.
I would say that fathers
Good
are
Lord.
more engaged.
Great. So let's
crime with a
put
firearm if they don't have a father in
Let's
the
put more
home.
resources into areas that are poverty-stricken. All for it.
And into fatherlessness, and that's something that we're doing.
But why
in
with
Oklahoma.
guns are you against bringing order?
I'm not against bringing order.
You are. You're also making it less safe for cops and for people.
John, I don't know you too well in your political stances, but it sounds to me that you wouldn't be the biggest cop supporter. And so I feel like right now he's trying to pull these things out of his ass to act like he's in support of the police. Guarantee you 3 years ago, he posted that black square. I bet you if I looked at his Instagram, I see a black square if I go back to 2020. I guarantee this dude posted a black square on his Instagram. Guarantee you he's a social justice activist. You know, just let's not pretend like you support the police, okay? I think it's funny he's bringing up, oh, it makes it less safe for, as if you care. Come on.
Because the person is the threat, not the firearm, not the knife.
I get it.
The person and the individual is the one that is the concern
Great,
here.
but you don't want anything that could help law enforcement.
Stop pretending like you want to help law enforcement, John. That's just an argument to help your point. Come on. Like, stop. You don't care about the cops.
You want to say I'm a Second Amendment purist and I'm making it safer. You're not. You're making it more chaotic. And that's not a matter of opinion. That's the truth.
That is a matter of opinion, John.
But why take away their tools?
Because certain of their tools that they're using would be infringements upon the people's right to keep and bear arms, upon their constitutional rights, upon due
So you're
process,
saying
upon other things.
that registering is an infringement?
Yes.
Okay. Is voting a right?
It's a right for citizens, yes.
Do you have to do anything to do it?
Yes.
What do you have to do?
It depends on the state.
What do you have to do?
Sometimes you have to be at least 18 years old.
What do you have to do?
And in some
going.
places you have to have a government-issued ID.
What do you have to? You have to
You have to be on the voter rolls.
register. You have to
Funny. So, I can tell John's left-leaning, and it's funny he brings up that point. Isn't the party he voted for, or the party I'm assuming he voted for, isn't his party the one that tries to make it way easier for the people to vote? That's where the hypocrisy comes in. His party is the one that tries to make it way easier for anyone to vote, even if they have a criminal record. Like, just everyone should be allowed to vote. His party is a party that wants every single person to be allowed to vote with no background, nothing. It's just astonishing to me. Like, where do we find these guys at? Where?
Otherwise, it's chaotic. I'll go you one further. You want to ban drag show readings to children.
To minors, yes.
Why?
Why?
What do you mean, why, John? Huh? Where do they find these guys? What do you mean, why? You want to ban drag show readings to children. Why? Why would you ever want to do... Huh? I'll tell you why, John. Because kids don't need to be seeing sexualized... At that age, that's just too early. They can make the decision to see that type of stuff when they are older. But all this drag show stuff is with children, and all these drags going to the schools and stuff, all it is to indoctrinate the kids into trying to live that type of life. It's not to make them more accepting of gay people. No, it's not. It's to indoctrinate and brainwash and expose them to something that their parents maybe would not be okay with. I mean, I can't lie to you. It seems like some parents are okay with it. I mean, I see clips of parents with their kids there, and you know what? That's fine. If their parents brought that, I don't think a parent should do that. But at the end of the day, I'm not the parent, so I guess they can do what they want with their kid. I think it's evil, personally. But, why? Because even if it wasn't drag, say it's a stripper. It's not. It doesn't. Either one is not okay. And that's what's funny with Disney. You know, like everyone, a lot of people try to defend Disney. They're like, "Oh, you guys would be okay if it was a guy and girl kid." I mean, no, not necessarily. I don't think any kid shows should really show too much of that. Obviously, the prince and princess are gonna fall in love and they might have a kiss or something. That's normal. But I don't think a lot of Disney shows or movies should get into that. And the fact that they want to expose the kids to this, all this gay and all this, LGBT stuff, it's just funny to me. Like, I don't know. This isn't a homophobic thing. Like people try to say. Everyone's trying to make it out like you're homophobic if you think the way I think or how other people think. No, it's not a homophobic thing. It is okay, you're gay, keep that to yourself, and don't try to push it on my children. That's what it is. What do you mean? And this is the clip I was talking about, where I got the idea to even make this video in the first place. He's gonna talk about how You know, the biggest causing of death, you know, to children isn't drag shows. It's firearms. You know, because that's such a great point, John.
Are you protecting?
Why can we prohibit children from voting, those under 18 from voting?
Why are you
But
banning
also that?
Is that free speech? Are you infringing on that performer's free speech?
They can continue to exercise their free speech, just not in front of a child.
Why?
Because the government does have a responsibility to protect.
I'm sorry?
The government does have a responsibility in certain instances to
What's
protect
the
children.
leading cause of death amongst children in this country? And I'm going to give you a hint. It's not drag show readings to children.
Correct, yes.
So what is it?
I'm presuming you're going to say it's firearms.
No, I'm not going to say it like it's an opinion. That's what it is. It's firearms. More than cancer, more than car accidents. And what you're telling me is you don't mind infringing free speech to protect children from this amorphous thing that you think.
But here's the thing. The Democrats try to push this free speech thing on Republicans as if Republicans think you should just be able to say and do whatever you want. No. Hate speech is not free speech. There's limits. You can't just go up to your teacher and tell them fuck you. You can't just go on a line and say the hard R and say anti-Semitic things about Jewish people. You can't do that. But there comes a line where I should be able to say what I want, my opinion on COVID. I should have my opinion on the vaccine. I should have my opinion on whether or not the election was rigged without getting my post taken down or without possibly, you know, getting taken off of YouTube. And that's what's happened to a lot of content creators now, is they're all getting banned over some bullshit. And the fact that they literally took our president off of Twitter is literally insane to me. He didn't cause no storm to the Capitol like everyone thinks he did. So, again, this is they try to make this free speech thing as if Republicans are okay with free speech until it doesn't match the... No. There's a difference between evil and good. Me talking about my opinion on COVID is not an evil statement. Let's pretend I'm a parent and I took my kid to a drag show. To me, that is evil. They're too young for that type of stuff. There's a big difference.
But when it comes to children that have died, you don't give a flying fuck to stop that, because that shall not be infringed. That is hypocrisy at its highest order.
Alright, well, so that's the video. Yeah, the senator didn't do a great job at elaborate, but at the same time, John didn't really let him talk, and who knows what the senator said after that, because the video ended. You know, these creators want to only put in the parts where they look good. No, John, he thinks he's a lot smarter than he is. It's clear. This guy doesn't have a clue. And again, he honestly wasn't doing he wasn't going too over the top until the drag show comment. What do you mean, why? Why would I want to get rid of that? It's pretty blatantly obvious why I'd want to get rid of that bullshit with children. Children don't need to be seeing that stuff. But anyways, I'm going to end the video off there. Jon Stewart, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of you, John. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm not sold on most of the things you said. And anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and smash the like button, and I will catch you guys next time.